Godzilla X Kong, Guardians of Equestria, written by Phantom Plus 1234. Chapter 8, Godzilla and Kong vs. MUTOs. The group stares at Godzilla in awe as he towers over them, his magnificent pink spines glowing brightly. As he turns towards Kong, he notices the female MUTO behind him and roars angrily. Was it just me, or does Godzilla look more pissed off than usual? Asked Bernie. Tobias's machine must be the cause of Godzilla's erratic behavior back on Earth, Alien concluded. Ghidorah was considered to be his biggest archenemy, so I wouldn't doubt it, said Trapper. My goodness, that form! I would certainly love to create an outfit for the king, said Rarity. Now's not the time to be talking about that, Rarity. Look out! Twilight pushed her out of the way as Godzilla charged at the female MUTO and tackled it to the ground. Meanwhile, the male MUTO hisses at Godzilla, clearly upset it was interrupted, and charges at him, but not before Kong grabs it by the wings and throws it onto the ground before pummeling it. Thanks, Twilight, Rarity let out a sigh of relief as she picked herself off the ground. If we stay here, we'll end up squashed, said Capper. They quickly ducked as Godzilla grabs the female MUTO by one of her legs and throws her, sending her flying right above their heads. Godzilla roars as he jumps up and lands on top of the female MUTO. He opens his jaw and bites down on one of its legs before tearing it right off and throwing it to the side as the female MUTO screeches in pain. Seeing this, the male MUTO quickly knocks Kong back and flies up, latching itself onto Godzilla's back. Were those things always this aggressive? Bernie asked as the MUTOs attempted to subdue Godzilla. It must be the influence of Hypermecha Ghidorah, said Aline. Hey, look. Applejack pointed towards the dismembered limb as it begins to glow in a brilliant golden light before vanishing. Just like the Skull Devil, said Aline. They all look up as Godzilla roars and throws the male MUTO off his back. The male MUTO growls and spreads its wings and lunges at Godzilla, but ends up eating a knuckle sandwich from Kong as he throws a punch at his face with his BEAST glove. Godzilla turns around to see the female MUTO standing up as it limps towards him. Stubborn things, aren't they? Asked Trapper. But neither Kong nor Godzilla is the type to back down from a fight, said Aline. Yag it and mess them up. Chirped Pinky. They continue to spectate as Godzilla swings his tail around, slamming it into the female MUTO, knocking it back down before running over and grabbing it by another set of legs and throwing it at the male MUTO as it was getting up, knocking both MUTOs down. Kong quickly makes his move and swings his axe, driving the blade deep into the female MUTO's side before kicking it away. The male MUTO roars as it latches onto his back, but Kong quickly throws it off and chops off one of its wings with his axe. The male MUTO roars as its wings disintegrates like the female MUTO's leg. Ouch, that sounded like hurt, Applejack winced as the two titans continued to go at the alien parasites. It's a good thing that these things are just fakes, otherwise I'd actually feel bad for them, joked Trapper. Still pretty barbaric though, sighed Rarity. They don't call Godzilla the king of the monsters for no reason, said Aline. The male MUTO stumbles about trying to escape Kong, but only makes it a few feet before Kong grabs it by the leg and throws it at Godzilla, who launches it back at Kong with his tail. Kong raises his BEAST glove and throws a punch at the male MUTO, sending it sliding across the ground. Meanwhile, the female is limping away trying to escape in order to recover from its wounds, but Godzilla quickly intercepts it and grabs it by the face before slamming it into the ground. As the female MUTO struggles to get back on its feet, Godzilla opens his jaws, his body and eyes begins to glow in a pink aura. Oh boy, here it comes, said Bernie. What's coming? Asked Pinky. Within seconds, Godzilla fires a stream of pink energy at the female MUTO as it tries to crawl away. Whoa! Rainbow yelps. Such raw power, I've never seen anything like this. Sunburst exclaims. The female MUTO leaps out of the way as Godzilla nearly scraps its back with his atomic breath. But before it could get back up, Kong rushes in and tackles the female MUTO. Godzilla catches the female MUTO and lifts it up before bridging it onto its back in a splex. The male MUTO notices this and rushes over to help its female counterpart, but Kong notices it approaching and kicks it back down before jumping on top of it. As the male MUTO struggles to escape, Kong grabs its hood beak and pries it open, and with one final roar, he bends its upper jaw back, followed by an audible snap. Ouch, Spike whimpered as he cringed at the sound. Ugh, Rarity turns away, covering our eyes from the awful sight. The ponies shiver at the horrible sight as Kong climbs off the now dead MUTO. That's Kong for ya, said Trapper. They watched as the male MUTO began to glow in the same golden aura before disintegrating into a cloud of gold dust. One down, one more to go, said Aline. They turn towards Godzilla as he forcefully stomps on the female MUTO as it scrambles to escape. Godzilla grabs the female MUTO and, just like Kong, pries its hood beak open before opening his jaws. His entire body begins to glow. I can't watch, Rarity said, covering our eyes again. As the female MUTO lets out a panicked screech, Godzilla fires his atomic breath directly into the MUTO's mouth. The MUTO falls limp as its head detaches from its body. Godzilla throws the MUTO's head on the ground before roaring towards the sky. "Good thing he's on our side," said Bernie. As Godzilla removes his foot off the MUTO, the body and head begins to glow before disintegrating, leaving both him and Kong the last one standing. Do they have to be so barbaric?" asked Rarity. "In a situation like this it really can't be helped," said Celine. "Well, that's that. Now what?" asked Capper. "Now we stand and fight," exclaimed a voice. The group turns around to see Celestia, Luna, and the Pilters running over to them. "Fear not, we have arrived," beamed Luna. "We may not have more magic, but we'll do everything we can to defeat the threat," added Celestia. "You lizard, we will not allow your destructive nature to go unchecked." Star Swirl pointed a hoof at Godzilla. "Talk about terrible timing," said Rainbow Dash. Princess Celestia," Twilight walked over to them. "Don't worry, Twilight, we'll handle this," said Celestia. "Actually, Princess Celestia, the threat has already been neutralized," Twilight quickly added. "What are you talking about, Twilight Sparkle?" asked Luna. "The giant lizard is the one that defeated the threat," Twilight answered. "But that cannot be," said Star Swirl. "Actually, yeah, you guys are too late," said Rainbow Dash. "Well, this is slightly awkward," said Luna. "Well, at least you won't have to worry about any more random monsters showing up," said Pinky. "Actually, I wouldn't be so sure," said Celine. "I've picked up on another titan. This time it's coming from a nearby forest not too far from the village. Forest not too far from the village, isn't that?" Applejack asked. "It's the Equestria forest," said Twilight. "Well then, onward friends to the Equestria forest," exclaimed Luna. "This time we won't miss our chance," added Celestia. With it, both the sisters and Pilters quickly headed back to Ponyville. Godzilla looks at Kong and roars before turning around and begins heading in the direction of Ponyville, with Kong following closely behind. "We should get going too," said Celine. Right, Twilight and her friends began heading towards the Equestria forest as the Monarch Task Force piled into the hay and followed after the others. To be continued.